Right, we're recording. Right, Olga, welcome. Second coaching session, trying to get you through to that last point where you've got your knowledge panel under your control and your name change has been digested and accepted by Google.
Hi, Jason. I am very happy to be here, and I am super excited about what you are doing, and that Google finally kind of got to understand that I am Olga Zarr.
It's getting there.
It's
You
getting
changed your
there.
name from Olga Zarzeczna,
Yeah.
which is more or less said right, but is very difficult for people to say, to Olga Zarr for your branding.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like, I think in November, December. I don't remember. I think it was in December. Yeah, and then kind of we started working together, and and then I had to like leave for vacation, so probably that's why I kind of made the process a bit slower, because I didn't complete the very huge homework I was given.
Brilliant. Yeah, I mean, the first thing, we sorted out your site, we got rid of the schema markup that was confusing Google on the entity home, and that immediately brought results. And here, what we see is we've got this knowledge panel, which is starting to look pretty good, but it was under the name of Olga Zareczna.
Yeah.
Which I still can't say.
No one can, except for Polish people. Zarzeczna.
Zarzeczna.
Oh yeah, almost.
Okay, brilliant. That was the original one, and it now says Olga Zarr, and we can see that this one is now empty. Now the problem there was that you changed some profiles and not others. Google got confused and it couldn't figure out what was happening. It generated a new knowledge panel, and we then merged them. Well, we didn't merge them, sorry. We removed this one, the secondary one, but we're keeping it there for security purposes because things sometimes come back. So we're going to make sure that if it does come back, Google doesn't then duplicate you again, because if it duplicates you, it's going to weaken this knowledge panel and you'll lose elements of it because it will be thinking that you're two different people.
And is it a bad thing that when you type Olga Zarr, my homepage isn't on top?
Right, that we didn't type Olga Zarr here. What we did was use the KGM ID.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
So
sure. Okay.
That's a really good point. It is a really good point. It should be at the top, but it's looking at LinkedIn and saying, well, this is her, whereas SEO Sly is your company, your professional life. It's not you.
Makes sense.
So I would advise you to have a personal website that's just about you.
Okay.
That would include your professional life, but isn't entirely about your professional life. Because I do, actually, Olga Zarr, I don't know where I am in the world. New York.
Yeah, it's showing my entity home, but it is still not on the like first spot, but the third one. Yeah, but homepage, at first entity, home, and then my homepage.
Right. And what it's done is shown the internal page of your professional website, that is your entity home.
Yeah.
That is, but once again, your entity home is on your professional website. That isn't ideal. It will be better to have a dedicated website. So my next advice here will be create a 2-page website, homepage, about page, with the entity home on the about page of that website. On the homepage, you can talk about your professional life, you can talk about your sports life. On your about page, you would explain to Google and use that as the entity home, and it would almost certainly rank here within 4 weeks.
That. Okay. So
Olgazarr.com.
Yeah, I have that domain, so.
All right. Yeah. And I mean, you're a super duper SEO. You can build one in 20 minutes.
Yeah, I will do that. Especially with ChatGPT, it will be even faster. I will just ask him to kind of rewrite what I have on my entity home, add a bunch of fixes, and maybe it will be enough.
Right, absolutely. And that's absolutely perfect. And once again, it takes very little time and it costs very little money, and it gives you control, and it will immediately alter this situation. Because right now here, I don't advise you to claim it with this. You would want it to recognize the entity home, and it's going to be easier to get it to recognize a dedicated domain as the entity home.
Okay. So can you one more time repeat? So I create a new site. On the homepage, I talk olgazarr.com. On the homepage, I talk about myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And on the about page, I talk about
yourself.
As well. Okay. So
on the about page, you state factually who you are, what you do, who your audience is, why people should believe in you or work with you. It's a way to A, educate Google, and B, convince Google of your credibility and your reliability. It's your version of who should work with you, what you can help them with, and why you're a good solution for them. But written for a machine so the machine can understand. Whereas the homepage is more exciting, client-based or personal-based, where you're saying, this is who I am, I love to run, which I know you do. I also work in SEO. I also have a dog and live in a pigeon, whatever else it is. And that means with the homepage, you can have fun.
Okay. And how do I link this site to my SEO Fly site? So I link them, right? And I link to all the profiles as well.
Yeah, on this one, you would link back to the about page that I just discussed, saying this is my about page, so that Google understands that this isn't the entity home, the other one is. And all your social profiles, you can link to this one and use that as a profile page.
Okay.
And link to the other one, or better still, if you can, link to the other one and use it as an about page in schema markup rather than a profile page in schema markup.
Okay.
And the point being is you want to link to the one that makes the most sense to the audience on the platform. So if you're driving a lot of business through LinkedIn, you would want to link to the profile page on your professional site. If you're just having fun with your friends on Twitter, you can link back to the entity home. That makes sense. Crunchbase, you would link back to your entity home on your personal website because it's a strong signal and because hardly anybody ever uses Crunchbase to click on links to go and visit people's websites.
Okay.
So it's this consideration of find the balance between audience and the needs of Google. But the needs of Google is to clearly see as many pages linking back to your personal site about page entity home as possible, so that it will then rank at the top and it gives you control. You'll get the entity home in here, which is the little world icon that people see.
Okay.
Show you, and once you've got that little world icon, you can claim it through
Because now it's coming from Search Engine Journal. Okay.
Right. That's an important distinction. This isn't anything to do with the entity home. This is just the best description it's found. So it's just Search Engine Journal is a relevant, authoritative resource within the SEO industry. It knows you're an author and an SEO professional, so it's using that description. But that doesn't mean Search Engine Journal is your entity home, or even Google thinks it might be. It's that Google just has picked that as the best description from these results on the left-hand side. Somewhere it's going to be in there somewhere. So we could have had this one, but we didn't, because this is Kalicube Tuesdays, and that's us, or this one, Branded Search and Beyond. But our idea here isn't to steal your description. The ideal is that the description that Google shows here comes from either your professional website here or your new personal site entity home, so that you actually control the brand narrative yourself. And that's the ultimate aim, is to get that to happen.
Okay, and I must mention a great tip you gave me at the very beginning, that my knowledge panel was totally empty. There was just my name, even with a previous name. And you gave me that tip to simply update on Search Engine Journal, because on Search Engine Journal, my description was Olga is blah, blah, blah. And I simply added Olga surname is, and it almost instantly happened that this description was added to my knowledge panel, the old one at the time.
Right. Great. That's absolutely perfect. And it's the kind of thing with the coaching sessions like this one, where I can spot what's missing really quickly. And it's a question of experience. It's a question of, I've been doing this for 12 years now, been doing internet for 25 years, which makes me feel old. But experience and having done all of this stuff, and I've got it all wrong at some point. It's pretty easy to spot this stuff. I'm really pleased with this. And, no offense to you, but the fact that you half did the job, but didn't correct everything, and then spend a little of the time doing the rest of it, has slowed it down, but we're still doing really, really well. And that's hugely encouraging. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I do schema for my clients, of course. I take care of it. But I didn't notice that on my own side, the schema was generated by the theme and by rank math, I think. And I never even checked that, and you spotted that. So that was a funny find.
Well, with the new entity home, we need to make sure that you switch and that you add the code snippets so that it injects directly from Kalicube Pro, which means any updates we do in Kalicube Pro are immediately reflected in your entity home. And you can use any other schema plugin will merge into that. And I was just thinking here, have you got a Wikidata entry?
I don't know. No.
No, okay. So that's something we can do for you.
Oh.
What we've already done, the reason I asked that is I already spotted here, somewhere here, Golden. And I'm pretty sure Nell's done that. Golden is a resource like Wikipedia. It's pretty cool and interesting. And there you go.
Oh, I didn't know this one, to be honest.
Right, that's Elisa's team member who's called Nell, who added this. He hasn't yet done Wikidata, but he will. And the idea here is just yet another piece of information that Google can rely on. And you can see here very clearly that Nell has made sure that it's written in a way that explains that the two names are synonymous and what you are as a SEO professional. And we would then hope to change author, which it's grabbed from the fact you work for search engine or you write for Search Engine Journal. We can change that to SEO professional.
Oh, okay.
Super duper. Right, that's next step. Then we'll add it here. And if you've got the snippet installed, that will inject straight into your website. So as soon as we add the URL here, within 0 seconds, it's already showing on your website in the schema. The next thing I wanted to look into, so we'll do that. We take care of these different resources in order to be sure that everything is right. Oh, and if I come back to this page here, and I always had a problem with this, is it's way too complicated with way too much information to be a really solid entity. It's a brilliant page. And I, as a human being, I really want to watch these videos and interact with you and read all this stuff and sign up to your newsletter. And that's brilliant. And that's the role of a page, a service page, trying to get me as a client or a potential client or a newsletter subscriber into your world. But the entity home's role is to explain things clearly to Google, but also to human beings. So this.
So maybe I will remove the services section from here and only leave the stuff where I talked, my kind of credentials, my experience. Yes. Because here I basically, with those videos, wanted to show people where I kind of contributed, what I look like, what stuff I talk about. So maybe
wouldn't it be better to have a dedicated page that says dig into all the stuff I do, this is all the fun stuff, and isn't it great, and I love it, and it's wonderful, and then have a huge button on this page that links through to it that says, you know, want to meet me in video or something, I don't know, something friendly, something.
Okay.
And then you move the confusing stuff here onto a separate page, and it really becomes this research page where somebody can dig down into exactly what you do and why you're interesting for them and what you share.
Okay. Yeah, cool. So this other page, I'm thinking about potential SEO cannibalization. So I would probably not want this other page to be indexed, I guess.
Yeah, which is fine. I think one thing with all of the pages we build on our website is, where do I expect people to come from to get to this page? And as you said, if you're not expecting people to come from Google to that page, then you can just no index, and you say, well, it's not interesting for Google. If Google disagrees, of course, it will just index it anyway. Because no index is just a suggestion. It's saying, I don't think this is useful.
Or maybe I will. Isn't it a directive?
No, there's loads of no index pages that are indexed.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, I mean, we can dig into that another
Yeah,
day. My experience has been
I have both sides of kind of the equation. I have examples from both sides, but sure.
Okay.
Maybe
Well, you're the
canonical,
technical SEO. I'm
and
not. I
canonical
haven't
is
done
also a
this.
hint.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Google makes its own mind up. Anyway, as a profile page, I would turn that into some kind of semantic triple. So Olga Zarr is a search engine optimization consultant. But here, if you want your subtitle in your knowledge panel to be SEO professional, you would need Olga Zarr as an SEO professional.
Because this was, to be honest, all the things done on this page are optimized for SEO consultants, kind of Google term. But
okay.
I think, yeah,
in that case, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
In that case, you could just create another page, which is SEOs/Olga Zarr, and just make it factual and use it as a profile page. And then you can keep this page exactly as it is. And write on the other one, Olga Zarr SEO professional, add some profile page schema markup to it, which would support your entity.
So we will move this markup from this one to that one, the other one, because now this one is an entity home.
Yeah, and it's not an appropriate entity home, which is why we're struggling with the ranking, as you said, on the left-hand side. But you can actually create a profile page, Olga Zarr, on this website. So you would then have what we call a secondary entity home, which is a profile page on a website that you control, where you can support the information on the original website. For example, here, my entity home, unfortunately, is on the home page. And historically, there's a reason for that. And I'm now slightly concerned about the idea of changing it. And it's not a good time for me to be doing it. But if you look here, this is what we call a secondary entity home. And it's a profile page. If you look at the schema markup here, and Kalicube can do this. Kalicube provides the schema markup for this. It's been an experiment for 6 months, and we messed up lots of things
for the
on
second entity home, you mean?
Secondary entity home, and it's a profile page. And everything in here matches everything on the other one, including the @ID, which is somewhere in here, that one. As you can see, the @ID is on jasonbarnard.com. So we're pointing everything to the correct entity home. This is just a profile page, but the @ID for the entity across all our secondary entity homes is the correct primary entity home.
Okay, and can you provide this as part of the package we have, or is it like an extra thing?
No. It's part and parcel.
Okay, cool.
So absolutely no problem. And as you can see, I've got that one. So I've got 1, 2. This one isn't because it's an internal page. And this one 3, and this one 4. So I've managed to get 4 of the blue links out of 8, I think. In fact, 5 if you include my, 1. I'm miscounting here. 1, 2, no, it's 3, 4. 4 of the blue links on that page are my secondary entity homes or my primary entity home.
Nice.
So that's a huge amount of control.
Yeah. Okay.
You didn't know that. In fact, this is the first time I've told anybody about this, because up until right now, it's an internal part of Kalicube Pro that only Elisa, who's sitting between us here, who is the Kalicube Pro team lead, and myself are allowed to use.
Okay.
So you're lucky to have Elisa looking after you, because she can use this and build you the secondary entity home profile page schema markup. And all you need to do is give her the URL.
Okay, I will get this done today.
Today, I like it. The thing I see with you, Olga, is you don't do anything for months, but as soon as we talk about it, you do everything within a day.
Yeah. Right. That's correct.
Decisive. The other social profiles here are going to depend on the linking from the social profiles back to your entity home. This will tend to improve or be more clear once we've got a clear entity home. The problem with the current entity home, as we've seen, is that it's very unclear that it's an entity home, and it serves a very different purpose, which makes it very difficult to balance.
Okay, so if I create this second entity home, should I still remove the videos from that first one and create this video page? Or in that case, I can just have the first and the second entity home?
Right. No, in that case, if we create the secondary entity home and it's seosly.com/Olga Zarr, and that's your secondary entity home, you can leave this page exactly as it is, and it says it's SEO purpose, and you win on both fronts. And this page is none of Kalicube's business.
Okay.
We're not allowed to tell you what to do with this page. We're only allowed to tell you what to do with entity homes and secondary entity homes and the corroboration around the web.
But this one is now an entity home, right?
But it won't be once we've moved it.
Okay. So we'll move it to this new one. Okay. Because I thought I would have 2 entity homes.
Right. Sorry. Oh, we'll come back a step. This will no longer be the entity home. You will have a profile page, which is here, Olga Zarr.
So we will have to kind of, go ahead.
And then you write that page so it represents you more factually. You don't make the page particularly accessible to human beings. Few people will visit it. That doesn't matter. And that becomes a secondary entity home because your primary entity home is going to be on your new website, olgazarr.com.
Okay, makes sense.
Which means that we stop messing with your SEO on this page and we allow you to do your job, which is great and exactly what you should be doing. And the idea of Kalicube Pro is we don't get in the way of anything.
Cool.
We don't force you to make these terrible decisions about removing videos that are important to you or changing your title because it's optimized for a specific search term, because your entity home and your secondary entity home needs to be about Olga Zarr, or Olga Zarr is an SEO professional, or Olga Zarr, or the wonderful Olga Zarr. Those are all choices, but here it doesn't make sense. So just this consultancy session, just talking to you.
So I will just move the piece of code to this new one, remove it from here.
Exactly.
And you will do all the magic behind in Kalicube Pro.
In here. Well, the magic happens here is that we just identify the entity home in this list of pages, and the system will only deliver the schema markup to that page.
Okay.
So even if you didn't remove the schema markup from the current page, it wouldn't deliver it as soon as we move the entity home elsewhere.
I see. Cool. Okay.
Right. Yeah, because I figured that people would leave bits of code lying around and that it was a good idea not to. And this is your description. I think Elisa is ready to work through this again with you. Maybe we can improve it, maybe we can't. Elisa can have a look. And as you can see here, Google has explicitly recognized you from this text. It's recognized your name. Ideally, it would start to recognize SEO professional, but that's not the case yet. And this is Google's NLP analysis, not ours. But as you can see, it's explicitly recognized you, 53% saliency from the text. And it's also recognized explicitly SEO professional, which is brilliant. It just hasn't made the connection here
between
where it's highlighting in yellow that it sees SEO professional as a synonym for your name. And I'll give you a quick example of that, actually. If we go to me, we analyze mine when it wants to. There we go. You can see here, it has in yellow CEO. So it recognizes that CEO is a synonym for, or CEO, sorry, refers to Jason Barnard. And also, where was it? Musician refers to Jason Barnard, which is lovely. So that's the idea of the entity description. And the fact that it works, i.e. identifies the correct entity the right number of times and associates the correct other types of entity, CEO, musician, to you, is down to the clarity of the text and the contents of the knowledge graph and Google's ability to guess through its NLP algorithms, which are constantly updating. So this description might work today, might work even better tomorrow as they improve and as we improve and as we educate Google. But back to you.
Okay.
The other good thing here, I didn't look at it, is, you're in web services. It's 94% confident that that description is talking about somebody who is in web services and business services. So that's a brilliant description, Elisa. Maybe you don't need to work on it again because it already looks pretty much perfect. Lovely. Okay. fundamental facts. You've looked at that before. We fill this in before. We've put your old name as an alternate name, which helps Google understand that it's a synonym and an equivalent. All of these datas, and then we can add your secondary entity home down here, which is what this area here is for.
Okay.
And we need to fill this in, Centrepiece content. We put the ID of the Centrepiece content to identify exactly which piece of content is the Centrepiece content. It depends on the platform you're using, WordPress, Duda, or other. We do classification every week to make sure that we're keeping up with all the news about you. And Knowledge Panel for Noobs Q&A with Jason Barnard came up, and we'll classify that. Here's the schema snippet that you've already seen that we just add to the page. Here's the schema written out in full if you want to copy paste it and remove our schema snippet, which is fine. And the corroboration list is all the stuff you need to correct. And this is the thing you didn't wait for.
So I still haven't done so much?
No, not as far as I know. So, but if we're moving the entity home, well, once you've created a new entity home, we need to go back through this again anyway.
Oh, cool.
And I strongly advise you that once you create the new entity home and we set that up, that you update all of this within, if you can, within an afternoon. Because the speed at which you do it is super important, because what then happens is that Google will see the same information all around the world immediately.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, which is what happened to you when you half updated some of the things, is that it kept seeing contradictions and it wasn't sure. And what then happens is it delays the entire process by trying to do it in multiple steps, because Google is confused and it takes more time to digest. If you can do it in one hit in 3 or 4 hours in an afternoon, Google sees all the information update exactly at the same time, all corroborates, all fits together, and you can switch something in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and in that case, it took me 6 months. I think it took Google 6 months.
Yeah, it took Google 6 months because it wasn't done incredibly efficiently, effectively, and consistently.
Yeah, my bad.
Sorry, that's very criticizing of me.
Of me?
I criticized you and I apologize. That wasn't my intention.
No, no worries. I'm aware that I was slammed with work. I had COVID. I had this and that vacation.
Oh, you had COVID again?
No, just once, but it took the first time I got it after Brighton, and then it kind of took me many weeks to kind of get back to the starting point. Longer than I would expect.
But you're better now?
Yeah, better.
Super.
But I still cough from time to time, so.
Well, good luck with that. I know how horrible COVID is. Well, it was for me. I don't know how horrible it is for everybody else, but definitely not happy with my experience.
Okay, sorry to hear that.
That's all right. It was ages ago. Well, I was going to say I've forgotten about it, but obviously I haven't, because I've just talked about it. So we can actually look here as well to see your knowledge panel. This is what I love doing. If I go back month by month by month, here we go. No knowledge panel in December 2022. When you search for Olga Zarr, then we worked on it. And if we go forwards in time, it appears in May. In April, it still wasn't appearing.
Oh.
So we can go back in time and figure out when it appears. And that's New York. We can also look in Warsaw if you want. We haven't been tracking that as long. And it's not tracking at the moment.
I don't have like anything on my site that would kind of indicate that I am from Poland. Maybe just one sentence. So I think Google is only thinking of me in terms of the US.
Right. Yeah, you're very Anglophone. There you go. We can
I
see
even have like the address in the US and phone number. So.
So we would need to educate it about the Polish side. You would also
No, I don't. I don't want to.
Oh, right. Okay, sorry. So we forget about
No, I'm
Poland.
okay with the US.
We can see here that it appeared first week of May.
Okay.
So we can go back and actually figure out when these things happen.
That's
nice. And we can see here that your own original name, let's go back. Oh, sorry, we need to go back weekly. Where were you appearing? There you go.
Cool.
It was here in March, and then disappeared in April. So what it did was it kept the old one.
Yeah.
Then it removed it for a month and it put the new one in place, which is why everybody needs to be patient and not think it's a total disaster because it's just disappeared. Google's considering and thinking and pondering about it. And here we can see clearly that your subtitle appeared in February for your old name. That's the red thing. That's the visualization of it. And if we go back to the new name, there we go. We can see clearly it appeared on the 4th of May.
Cool.
And it appeared, and it's been very stable ever since. And we'll see here with the color coding thing, which is just to have a really quick overview of how it changes over time. With here, for example, people also search for appeared and then have disappeared the last month. What are these? These are filter pills. Were there, then they're not there, then they're there, then they're not there. And then if I want to look, this is cool. And I live and work in France, so I care about the French. Exactly. You can see how different it is around the world. Immediately, you can see that in Anglophone countries, I'm doing pretty well. In the Philippines, I'm doing incredibly well. But in Ankara, Berlin, Rome, Paris, I'm doing less well, although pretty well in Berlin. And I'm doing pretty well in France. And that is mainly because I've created dedicated pages for those countries in those languages.
Okay.
So there you go. That's just a piece of information of what we would hope to see for you. As you can see here, there's only 2. So you see the same thing in both Chicago and New York. Potentially, in fact, that means you don't have it in London. That means it doesn't appear in London. So that would be something we need to work on. We would need to point Google to information in the UK that demonstrates that you're relevant for the UK. Oh, no, it's okay. Sorry, I'm wrong. There's a small bug in the system. New York, Chicago, for some reason.
Maybe it wasn't tracking it here specifically.
Nope, okay. It hasn't run today yet.
Oh, okay.
It's only run through 2 of them and it hasn't finished the whole analysis. So yeah, you go. Perfect across the world.
Cool.
That's it. That's what we need to do. And you've got your homework.
Yeah. I will start working on it right away. So my homework is summing up a new website where I have like homepage and about page, and then I create a new page on my existing site, Olga Zarr, in the slash, and this will be my new entity home on SEO Slide, right?
That'd be your secondary entity home.
Yeah, secondary, yeah. And the first one, primary, will be on the new site.
And then you ask Elisa for the description I showed you. You paste that into the 2 entity homes.
Okay.
You make a fun homepage on your own website so that we can have the boring entity description that I just showed you that's really, really clear for Google, but probably not very exciting for people on the about page that you don't send people to very often. And then you ask Elisa to switch the code on our side so that we deliver the correct schema markup to the correct pages, and we're done.
Okay, and in addition to the description Elisa gives me, I can also add some other things, right?
Yes.
But make sure that they are not like going sideways too much.
Exactly, yeah. That's a really good way of putting it. Make sure it's not going sideways too much. And Elisa's there basically to say, that's going sideways too much. But she's also there to help you go slightly sideways, because we don't want to bore people, and we need to remember that these pages are for humans primarily, but we need to adapt the way we're presenting it just to make sure Google's understood in order to get control of our own entity identity.
Okay, makes perfect sense.
And thank you so much for letting us record this, because I think it'll be helpful for people to see what a coaching session looks like at Kalicube.
Yeah, and you are doing so much in the background, so much time is kind of saved, because if I were to do it all manually, I simply wouldn't do it. So
yes, this is exactly what we're here for. The thing about Kalicube Pro is, as you say, you can do all of this manually, but then why would you when you can do it simply and quickly and efficiently using Kalicube Pro. Brilliant.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.